Hello, Caroline and all.
Well, hello, Alex, from the Czech Republic. Alexandra JB, who has her own YouTube channel. What's that YouTube channel called, Alex?
Alexandra JB from Illusion to Reality, and another one from Illusion to Reality.
And it's Caroline Stevens, Seeking the Truth. This video will be found on my YouTube channel and also Alexandra's JB's from Illusion to Reality. A bit of a mouthful on a Friday afternoon. Today is the day, Friday the 13th, unlucky for some. We saw the stock market plummeting yesterday. Has the market rallied? And what will happen today and next Friday and the 31st of March? These were the three dates, Alex, you mentioned on our interview 2 days ago. Things are looking very, very tricky out there. When we had our interview, it coincided with a budget 2020 in the UK. And budget 2020 in the UK, people think, oh, that was fine, that didn't hurt. But the truth of the matter is that our government is intending to annihilate many, many entrepreneurs, many little people, shall we say, in favor of, I guess, global communism, where everybody is going to be under a common umbrella with 500,000 jobs created under a national infrastructure scheme run by the global elite. And I guess if you speak out against this, if you go onto Facebook, if you go onto any sort of social media and speak out against the government, you will lose your job and you will never, ever get another job. That's how I see it, Alex. What do you think? What has the Illuminati now got planned for us? And for people who are thinking, what are these two ladies going on about? What is the Illuminati and who's behind them?
Yes, I can tell you what they are saying, that their plan is and who they are. But please don't attack me. I'm just a messenger.
We're both messengers. We get attacked every
Yes.
day for being messengers.
Yes, and just before I start telling about their plan or what they are saying about the plan, in this country, since we talked yesterday, they announced a state of need. It's not really emergency or martial law, but for example, one of the possibilities for the police is that they can go inside your apartment without asking the court.
Now, is that in Europe? Does that apply in the UK, or are you not sure about that?
Only in this country, since yesterday 2 p.m. I believe, this government,
The Czech
government, yes, announced that. So it gives the like police and authorities to do certain things that they were not allowed to do yesterday, like before they announced this state. It's not martial law really, but close to that, because they can get inside, police can get inside your apartment
without a warrant,
without asking court, or yeah. So it's problematic for me. For example, I have a lot of material here, so that they could see and would like to have.
and they will take your computer and everything else.
Yes, and I have a lot of documentation that maybe no other person has. Deborah Tavares has a lot of documentation, but not.
She doesn't live in the Czech Republic.
Yes, and also she doesn't have the material that I have from 2013, 2014, and some of the material later, which is good for us, for humanity. Because as I told you last time, or the viewers, that I would like that each non-Illuminati person would get economic compensation 100,000 euro, which is quite a lot of money for the attempted murder and the manslaughter or the poisoning on, and I have the documentation. If they take it, it would be more difficult for us to prove it. And I would like to tell you also, I told you about the 4 Illuminati YouTube channels. It's Illuminists, LieKillers, Adrian Apollyon, and Adrian Apollyon Pandoras box. So on one of these YouTube channels, LieKillers, for some 24 hours ago, was published a short, very short video on LieKillers. You can watch it. And one of
what do they mean by light killers? Why have they called
it's the name
YouTube video light killers?
It's the name of the YouTube channel. It was published, first videos were published already in 2013. The man who speaks on these videos, he speaks with Czech accent. He speaks English with Czech accent, and I believe that he worked for the Department of Interior, Czech Department of Interior, as an IT expert. And then he was also as an expert in courts, so he is very skilled. And he was involved in producing these videos 2013, 2014 on behalf of the Illuminati, or the head of the Illuminati. Then he faked that he has lost his memory in Norway. So he was here and on television in the end of December, in the end of 2013. Then he disappeared, and I believe his face was operated, a facial plastic operation, so he would not be so recognized. And this YouTube channel, LieKillers, didn't produce any new videos since 12th of June 2014, when one day after I wrote to police about it. 4 years nothing, and then he started again with new face.
New face?
Yes.
What, plastic surgery?
Pardon me?
Plastic surgery?
Yes, I believe so, and I believe that he's working for NATO, actually.
NATO. It's really funny that you mention NATO, because we have had all the political parties saying, oh, well, we can say goodbye to the EU. Our allegiance is with NATO. It's NATO that has kept the peace for years and years. But it's like an onion, isn't it? You peel off the layers, and but the NATO is potentially a worse enemy than the EU.
Yes, because they have the weapons. But on the 1st of December 2019, 4 leaders of European Union were announcing, like, they had their speeches 1st of December 2019, and it was Ursula von der Leyen, it was Christine Lagarde. These 2 women were in Bilderberg group meeting, where the head of Illuminati was also.
So they had a Bilderberger meeting on the 1st of December last year,
No,
but
it
nobody
was
noticed.
It was before. The Bilderberg meeting 2019 was in June 2019. Yes. And first after this meeting, Ursula von Leyen became the leader. So it was decided there, not maybe at the Bilderberg, it was decided among them
afterwards.
But
she was to become a leader, wasn't she? So where did these 4 people, including Lagarde, And where did they make these announcements? Was
It
that in
was
the EU Parliament?
I believe so, 1st of December 2019, and Christine Lagarde spoke Illuminati coded language. And also,
Illuminati coded
yes,
language.
yes.
How can you explain to the people watching what is known, what do you mean by Illuminati coded language?
She has done it before in 2014, and people on YouTube saw it, and many question what is she saying. She's saying like 7 and comprise numbers, and like she was talking 7 here and different numerology, and people didn't
Understand what she was talking about,
Yes,
I guess.
yes. So she did it already once, and people saw it. And this time, 1st of December 2019, she said something like, everything, all is symbols. We are 4 people here, 2 women, 2 men. Well, it sounds okay, but she said before that all is symbols. So she meant this is something symbolic. And number 4 is the number of Illuminati hit, Illuminati murder, Illuminati assassination. You see number 4 like a code, so they understand between each other, the Illuminati, that we have murdered this person. It's code 4. And then she said 2 and 2, 22, and it's the code for Lucifer. So what she is saying, we are worshipping Lucifer, we are going to kill humanity. It's how I hear it. Or your former prime minister, for example, David Cameron, when he left the office, people noticed that he said something very strange, that he did like turn around and said, do. And it's strange. Do 4 times. I believe it was 4 times, and it was do. It doesn't tell you anything, but 4 times. D is 4th letter in the alphabet, and O is the code for humanity. So what he says, that we Illuminati are going to kill humanity.
Right, okay, so now we fast forward on to coronavirus, but
Yes.
what did those leaders actually say on the 1st of December? Who were the 2 male leaders that spoke?
It was this man from Belgium, Michel. All of them are under control of the head of the Illuminati. Ursula von der Leyen, among other things, she was at Bilderberg Group meeting 2019, and then she was pronounced to be, they voted her, but it was decided at Bilderberg that she will become the president or the leader. Then it's Christine Lagarde, who was in steering committee together with the head of Illuminati at Bilderberg Group meeting 2014. You can find the papers from the meeting 2014. You can write Fritz Springmeier, Bilderberg Group meeting 2014, and you will see the speech of the head of the Illuminati, and that he is there taking breakfast between 2 eyes or 4 eyes with Hillary Clinton, and that he is in the steering committee together with Christine Lagarde.
Well, actually, it's interesting that you bring up the subject of Hillary Clinton. You know, there are a lot of people in the UK who follow something called Q.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Q has been out there trying to produce a story to say that all is well in the USA and that all these bad people will be brought to justice. That's my understanding from people that I know who follow Q. What do you make of Q?
I don't follow him, and I believe the work we have to do it ourselves. It's
I
too
agree.
much. I have heard the expression like good positive porn, or that it's like just calming people in a wrong way. We have to fight now, and we have so much information. And it doesn't matter if you have done something or I have done something for humanity. The most important thing was that false flags were prevented. Huge false flags were prevented by us. It doesn't matter if it was me or anybody, somebody else. The most important thing is that we still live and we are not in New World Order yet. We haven't got this, they haven't got this chaos through as they would wish to start New World Order. So now I believe that if this Q is doing that, it's wrong for me, totally. Because we have like so much possibility to turn this around. And and now I am jumping to another thing, but one important thing is now this week or these weeks that they don't authorize Patriot Pact and this, is it FISA, FI, this security that the Secret Service have the authority to use surveillance in very too much, like that they shouldn't be allowed to do, because it's 18 years and 6 months ago 9/11 happened, and the Illuminati themselves says it was a controlled demolition with um, explosives. It was used holographic airplanes. These planes were not even normal planes, and then other weapons were used as Elana Freeland says, energy weapons. And you know, these buildings, they went into dust by molecular dissociation. It was just dust. How could it happen with an aircraft? It's a nonsense. And they say themselves it was the Illuminati who did it. Of course, the secret services must have been involved, even secret services in your country. Of course, you have
Of course.
British, Americans, and Israeli in your country. Of so so we should like, if a judge want to come with authorization, well, take his salary, take his retirement away. He doesn't work for the people who pay him. Goodbye. You know, we should have our courts, people's courts of true justice. And you don't need to be educated judge and know all these paragraphs. You should have good morality. We have judges that have studied law without nobody ask if they have good moral grounds. They just put all these paragraphs in their heads, and then in worst case they abuse the law. So of course it's wrong. You would be better judge than some with personality disorders. Some have the worst personality disorders, like
Narcissism.
sadistic psychopath. I have seen one lawyer in Sweden who was very obvious sadistic psychopath, and then who educated him. The man has the same personality.
Tendencies, yeah, the same personality traits.
And he was one of the highest judges in Sweden. So,
and look how Sweden is now. I mean,
yeah.
the UK is on its way to becoming like Sweden, but a lot of Swedish people have left, have they not? You've left.
But where can you live? This is global. This is global.
Where do you go now? Where is safe?
Yeah, nowhere. So, but I was talking about this video that they have, the Illuminati have published for 24 hours ago, 1 day ago, and it's like only 2 minutes. The YouTube channel is LieKillers, Lie, Killers. And he starts with, the storm is coming, it will come collapse of economy, it will come World War III, it will come fake alien invasion. And this fake alien invasion he explained before, so I can explain it. And then there you can see written, and he says this also, and I read it now. The truth about coronavirus, COVID-19 is a bioweapon. The primary plan is to destroy the world's economy with this virus. The economic collapse will not be caused by the virus itself, but the coronavirus will be like a pin which will burst the debt bubble which was already there. Of course, they have tried to accumulate all debts against us. They have caused the 2 world wars, as you said yourself. So of course they have accumulated the money and accumulated the debt throughout all these years. So, and now they want to collapse it. And the plan, you have heard about Atlantis, and Atlantis empire was in the end a totalitarian system, and ruled by one person. And these Illuminati, they are talking about this themselves as another species, and they say that they are extraterrestrial. Now I want to say it exactly as they say: extraterrestrials, Illuminati, demons, Anunnaki. Reptilians, demons, Anunnaki. So the real Illuminati, and always he says the real Illuminati, because some of the Freemasons are for them the lowest, and they are just helping them. But the real Illuminati are after Atlantis, this flood and disaster, they moved, and in one time they moved to Egypt, and from Egypt they moved to Italy, to Rome, Vatican, Rome, so that the families, the old Illuminati families, are there. But of course they are in your country also. They are in France, they are in the United States, but it's what they are saying about themselves, and that Vatican is satanic. And I have seen a interview with Jacob Rothschild. It was in the beginning of 2017. It was a BBC interview, I believe, and it was about Balfour Declaration. And Balfour, it was the name of a person, but still, why was he chosen Baal? You hear the name Baal, it's Satan.
Oh, right, that's right, but 4 as well.
Pardon me?
You mentioned four as well, Baal and four. We were talking about four at the beginning of the show. Is that connected?
Also, Baal means Satan, yes,
Yep.
and they very often use this without you noticing it. So the Balfour Declaration to come to Jerusalem, to Israel, they picked the name Balfour, so it has with Baal to do. And Jacob Rothschild talked about this Balfour Declaration in beginning of 2017, and he said, we have tried this plan to get to Israel in 3,000 years. If you listen to the interview, you notice that he says something about 3,000 years to get this opportunity to get there. And
so that's 1,000 years before Christ.
Yes, exactly. So what you see in the Bible from the time 2,000 years ago about the Jews who say that they are Jews and are not, they are the synagogue of Satan. It's the same problem that we have now, but the problem is much bigger. And they have a very powerful weapons. And also what I want to say that in between these 3,000 years, the year 48 before Christ, the library in Alexandria burned down, and people believed that it was a false flag and that the Illuminati took the literature for themselves, and that it is, for example, in Vatican vaults. And
really, even to this day.
Elana Furen says also that it can be in the Masonic, or she says in the Masonic libraries. This so and successful. They took from us the information about how the world, about the history, and so they have put. We have learned fake, false history, and they have the true history and the literature. They had the access, but not we, so that it would be difficult for us to defend ourselves. Or also they have medicine that it's like 1,000 years in advance, in front of, like compared to our medicine, what I have studied as a medical doctor. And also the technical, or they have access to so much advanced technology thousands of years before what the technology that we have. They have it for themselves. They want to use it for themselves. And the plan for them is to restore the Atlantis empire. They want to have, and they show it in their films. They want to have the elites has all these access to this advanced technology and medicine as personal helpers or slaves. They would have robots close to them, robots or androids, not people, but their real human slaves would live in separate colonies, like packed as Agenda 21 and 30. So they are talking about their beautiful, comfortable cities for the elite with like slaves that are robots and androids. And the human beings that would be left would be like slaves in separate colonies. So you can read it on internet, their plan. And also that they say the new world order that it is 7 years plans how to exterminate 7 billion people and all kind of criminality. It's on the internet.
Right,
So
so Atlantis, is that the place that's actually off Ireland? People mentioned there's a place off Ireland. Is that not the place?
I believe, I don't remember if they have said where it exactly sunk, but I believe it's in Atlantic Ocean, and Azores, Portuguese Azores are the remain part of the island of Atlantis. But the society was a global empire, totalitarian. So it was all over the planet by that time. And
Well,
they,
there's no doubt. You mentioned the UN Agenda 2030. If you analyze the budget of 2030, which happened on Wednesday, it is, and just read between the lines, you know that our government is actually talking about the UN Agenda 2030, but people just haven't got that yet. They're not, they see these items as separate things. They can't quite integrate the two yet. Do you see what I'm saying?
yes. And what I mean is that we have the right to get the money back and to have not only money. I mean, the air is polluted. We have the right to breathe fresh air, and the water should be our property, like those people who live there. So we have to start with some courts, our courts, and remove the money from the perpetrators, and not only like count only this year. Uh, Jacob Rothschild is talking about 3,000 years plan. So if we go at least 200 years back, what happened, and at least the wars, the two world wars. But I believe, for example, your country, Britain, and United States, that it's very important that you, the people, understand that you have to help, because, and people in Belgium, Netherlands, because you see your queens, your heads of state, and as or your head of state has broken
All
the
the rules. They've broken
commitment.
all the rules. Do you
Yes.
know a head of state? People don't necessarily know this, I believe. When they support the Queen in her endeavours, they obviously do not understand, by supporting her, that the Queen must not make any money from her position. She is supposed to serve the people. And it's quite obvious that she has made, together with the rest of her family, money from their roles. You know, we've got Harry going off to Canada and, you know, being able to make money from the fact that he was Prince Harry. They're not supposed to do this. This is degrading the monarchy. They're supposed to serve the people. When you consider all the people, the genuine people, 20% of the children born in the UK are born into families that are living on or below the poverty line. Now, isn't that a sad indictment of society that even middle-class people now are being reduced to working 3-day, 4-day weeks, all because the global elites have the plan to depopulate the planet? So we're getting to a tipping point here where, with Brexit, before, and Brexit is obviously a very satanic word, I believe, if I remember rightly, we were doing all right until we started using the term Brexit. But it was the middle classes, the lower middle classes, and the working classes that really felt the impact on uncontrolled open door immigration. But with the government's new immigration policy that they're implementing, yes, they're fine. You know, we see the MPs on their big pay rises, but now the middle and the upper middle classes, they don't realize it yet, but their jobs are now on the line, not only from the impact of the new Green Deal, but simply because we are planning to bring in more people. This time they're supposed to be qualified, but we don't have the jobs for them. They're being invited here with no jobs to come to. So once they've been here for a very short space of time, my guess is they will then be eligible for benefits as well. And people, we've got wage compression. It's demand and supply. So if you have 100 teachers going for one teaching role, or you've got 100 nurses going for one nursing role, these roles are actually on a scale. They're on a different pay grades. So on a pay grade scale. So if you're a head teacher and you want to employ a teacher to fill one of your departments, who are you going to choose when you are working towards budgets? Are you going to choose a teacher from England or from the UK who speaks impeccable English and but happens to be maybe at level 7 or level 8 of the pay grade? Or are you going to choose, dare I say it, with due respect, Alex, somebody from the Czech Republic who maybe doesn't speak perfect English, but has a qualification in the subject, and they will be prepared to start on level 1, which is, say, the bottom grade. And that could make a big difference to your employability attractiveness, shall we say. So what would you do as a head teacher?
Yes, but the problem is
Remember that they have no job to come to, and we're inviting them in.
No, they don't have. And the head of Illuminati says, "I will make you all dependent on me."
Exactly.
Like all these kinds of things that you are talking about now, also the competition between us, and so all.
This is division, you see. This is where your division comes in.
And you said, sorry, I accept, you can say freely, and now I say something that I would say, please don't believe that I am attacking you. I'm not. You know that I like your country, but there is an evidence from former foreign minister of France from, I believe it was 2009. He said that he met with English British officials, and that they were talking that they are preparing something in Syria, and if he would like to be involved, then he was not foreign minister any longer of France, and he said no. And then 2 years later, 2011, I believe, it started in Syria, this so-called civil war. So it was obvious to him that the British, not you, but like secret services and maybe foreign, were preparing this attack against Syria. And you know that it was before Libya, it was before Iraq, and Afghanistan, all these. So you ordinary people have paid wages to these secret service guys and those in maybe foreign affairs office who were preparing an attack on people in Syria. And then the war came, they have lost their lives and houses and everything, and came to your country, and you pay again. So,
Yes.
and who should pay for all this? The compensation to the Syrian people, as well as the people in Iraq or Libya. Not you. You should receive back the money for the salaries that you have paid to uh, the attackers or the manipulators, or how you call them. So who
Well, the
is
fact that our parliament, you know, the people like the prime ministers of the UK are always Bilderbergers. So it's the Bilderbergers that are working on behalf of the higher echelons, shall we say, who've been able to, you know, this coronavirus that has had a devastating, or will have an absolutely devastating impact on the majority of the populations of many of the countries in the world. And who are we going to hold responsible for that?
Yeah, I believe that it's time to come with our court. It's time to start with from scratch and build, like, take a little region in your somewhere there you believe that you could handle to gather the people. And
We
now,
need to gather the people in our counties,
yes,
not
yes,
do anything centrally, because everything that has got like some sort of central website will be already infiltrated and organized by the government, because the government has planned all of this. I mean, the coronavirus, the front of the Tintin book, remember Hergé's Adventures of Tintin? This is a program we grew up, well, I grew up with when I was little, and that book is from 1935, and the front of the book has a Tintin and his team wearing masks, and they are in Wuhan. That is 1935. Who would have expected anybody to write a book in 1935 for foreseeing what is happening in 2020? Clearer vision. So we must now all start waking up to the fact that this has been planned, orchestrated, and what do we do about it is the fact that, for example, in the UK, we have counties. We must work in county lines, if you like. For example, my county has 7 MPs. All those MPs in the UK have to face charges. And, you know, it's no point in people on Facebook being brainwashed anymore by the people who go on demonstrations, who are speaking at these demonstrations. They are speaking at demonstrations because they have been chosen. In 99% of the time, they have been chosen by the powers that be to speak, because they speak in a certain remit. They have a selected agenda, if you like. So they are working hand in glove with the government. And that's what the people need to wake up and realize, that those people that they see and prance around on the stage are not likely to be for the people.
yeah. And right now, it would be important to drop this defender exercise of NATO and Council NATO. And the President of United States, Trump, said that he is not going. They will not going to allow, like, people from EU come now
To
because
America.
virus. Well, take your soldiers back. What are they doing here? Yeah, I can tell you, they are preparing for martial law, I believe.
Yes, because people have been sending me links over the past 48 hours showing me that is it European troops and the US troops are on joint military maneuvers in Central Europe, in Germany. So
Yeah,
if America is saying, well, we're not letting in people from the EU to the US, then equally they should recall their soldiers back to the US.
are you joking? I mean, it's a pandemic like disease, and they are going to have an exercise here, military exercise. Like, this is so obviously wrong and wasted money and dumping on us, chemtrailing and speaking about that they will do more HARP attacks like earthquakes and floods and tsunamis. And no, we split the soldiers. We are not attacking each other. So British soldiers to Britain, Czech soldiers only to Czech Republic, or Republic to this state, and we cut this, we take down this NATO, and also United Nations. What is this? Here you have threats about viruses. This is just one of them, this current one. They are threatening with many other viruses, like sexually transmitted and a lot of viruses, and they are threatening with dangerous vaccines. So isn't it obvious that this United Nations and WHO, World Health Organization, is a fraud? It's Illuminati fraud. They have it even in logo. They have in logo of United Nations the, do you say laurel wreath?
Oh, the laurels around the head.
Of Apollyon, the destroyer, which is Satan. And this World Health Organization have even a snake, which is again Apollyon, the Satan. So they have it even in logo. And you know what? In Sweden, the maybe two most well-known people who were involved in mass sterilization of people, and it's still 1960s. They tricked people into being sterilized, and it's not just a few people. It was altogether 63,000 people in like a decade or something, 60s, 70s, and half of them were against it. So half a percent of Swedish population were sterilized, and these two men were very much involved in it. Both were professors of psychiatry, Forsman, and the second one is Torsten Sjögren. And I know from his relative that he, after this, genocide, it's genocide to sterilize somebody just because the person is poor. And
right, so they picked 63,000 poor people in Sweden,
well,
and sterilized them.
They say that half of them was against their will a little bit, that they were tricked against it. But what I want to say, that this Torsten Sjögren, who was a professor of psychiatry in the town where I usually live, Gothenburg, he went then to United Nations and worked for United Nations. So this person involved in genocide, and he was accused to be with Nazis, also so positive for them. So then he went to United Nations. So you understand that the organization is not clean at all. Of course not. They are planning genocide again. So if they would like to eradicate this plot against humanity with viruses and diseases, they would have done it. But they haven't, and of course they are involved in the Illuminati criminality against us. So we have to do ourselves something. You know, 2013, when I started, I was attacked by your secret services actually on 27th, 28th of February 2013. It was how it started for me about Illuminati. So within a few months, I understood that they have set us up. You cannot go anywhere like Interpol, Europol, and ask them to do their jobs and take care of the criminals the right way, because everything was already, we have been set up by them as humanity. So all these institutions are compromised, are working for the Illuminati. It was very obvious for me, even if I have just started with it, 2013. So it was quite an experience to understand that, the betrayal. And when I write what I do to block these false flags, I'm not so naive that I would believe that they will do the right thing, the policemen that I write to, and the Secret Service of Sweden. I know that they are involved, they are for the Illuminati, but I write it just so that the Illuminati cannot do the attack. And one of the worst attacks is San Hoover Dam attack, which is, the Illuminati say that CERN is preparing a bomb with conserved energy. This bomb will be thrown in the waters of Hoover Dam, that will be at that moment filled with electricity. The dam will crash, it will be destroyed, and a portal will be accomplished. And when you hear what it is, you have it in the Bible. This is what you called in the Bible the bottomless pit or abyss. It's San Hoover Dam attack, and it's fully functional as long as I know is from 2015, definitely in the beginning of 2015, but in the end of 14, I believe. I have worked with it since 2015 to block it so that they cannot do it. But I would like to have the key from this so that we are sure so that they will not be able to do it. And also how they want to use HARP technology. They want to do a fake alien invasion, so it would be like holographic, and also fake second coming of Jesus, holographic. And they, with this alien invasion, fake alien invasion, it would be horrifying for us. But they would have also sounds, and you can hear on the YouTube channel Adrian Apollyon Pandoras box, you can hear the sounds of the harp that they want to use. I can tell you, I am trained psychological. I am trained for psychological resilience. You say
Resilience. It's
yeah,
like you're
because
talking about MK Ultra and things like that,
I
aren't
am
you?
trained because I am psychiatrist and neurologist, and you cannot when somebody attack you tell you,
Psychologically.
yeah, you are not. I cannot do the same back. I am doctor, so you have to take quite a lot. Um, and I am trained for that. But I can tell you, when I heard the sounds, it's difficult even for me a little while to hear it, and I can imagine how other people who don't have the same training as myself, how terrible, horrifying it would be for them to hear this sound and all the time. There is an example which is a few minutes, and it's unbearable.
The sound.
Yeah, the sound. So they would torture us psychologically. Absolutely. They are mad. So
Yeah. I can see that. just to finish off with, because we've been on air an hour, and we're going to do another show next week.
Yes.
Just for as a follow-on. I noticed there's an organization that is very influential in the border crisis between Turkey and Greece. And that's an organization, an EU organization called Forex, F-O-R-E-X. Is it a coincidence that we're mentioning the number 4 again? And what does Forex actually represent?
Yeah, it's probably not a coincidence, and we shouldn't have all that. We should be able to split all this and have countries for themselves, like Syria should be able to restore the country, Afghanistan, and all that, instead of we shouldn't be allowing anymore to these military guys that some of them are provoking conflicts, both NATO and there is another company, Blackwater Academy. It's
Blackwater Academy.
Yeah, the name was.
You wouldn't drink water from a black water, would you?
Yeah, it was the name Blackwater first, and they have committed crimes, and now the name is Academy, and they have also secret service connected to this. So we should understand now that no, the authorities, they are not going to do it for us. We should start from scratch and do it for ourselves, and take on one side the good people, to separate, how do you say, the wheat from
the chaff, or the sheep from the goats?
Okay, it's some, I heard
with the Bible.
Yeah, but if you say the wheat, they don't have so much money, and these the, how do you say it, tears, or this bad seed, they have a lot of money.
Seed. Remove the bad seed.
Yeah, and we take back the money also, and take back, remove the central banks, and
well, at the present time, most people's lives have been plugged in, if you like, into the matrix with the Vatican. So it could be argued, and there are definitely lots of arguments to say that we have been under Vatican rule since what, the 12th century?
Yeah, and the same people, the Illuminati, who are there, have been ruling thousands of years and taking successfully everything from us, and now they want to really take everything, even our lives.
Absolutely, they're taking the old people first, you know, and people have got to wake up to the fact that our government, all this vaccination situation, the older people are getting a flu jab every year, and I've met so many people who've had that flu jab, and they actually said they wish they were dead. It was that horrific. It had such a negative impact on them. They said they would never have another flu jab. Isn't it interesting that this coronavirus they're talking about in Italy, they are just going to leave people to die if they're above a certain age? And I guess that's going to be in the UK potentially as well in the future. I mean, we already know that there are many people in hospitals in the UK that must not be resuscitated regardless.
And it seems to be important for the judges in Germany to talk about euthanasia in these times.
Euthanasia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Instead of in this time when we need to help people to survive and have the economy to survive, and not be dependent on these banksters. So instead, so they are talking about and kill us. So
Well, I mean, you know, it was only last year we were openly talking about the UN Agenda 2030 and the depopulation program resulting in 90 to 95% of the world's population being removed from this planet. And of course, everybody thought, well, a lot of people thought that was absolutely, utterly ridiculous. They also said it was ridiculous that we were going to have another financial crash. Well, even people in the city admitted to me privately that there's a financial crash every 10 years or so. And we know that the financial crashes are engineered by the powers that be. It's not something that you or I or a group of us could engineer. We're only talking about the top people. They have over, as you say, over hundreds and hundreds and even thousands of years been able to engineer the planetary systems to suit themselves. They're the ones who are in all the top jobs in the legal profession, top jobs in the media. And at that point, Alex, I think we've done an hour, haven't we? Yeah, well over an hour. And everybody's probably falling asleep by now. So Alex, hopefully you'll be able to record this through your Zoom recording. But if not, I've still got a copy on Facebook and I'll let you have a copy of that. So Alex JB, what is the name of your YouTube channel again, please, for the people at home?
It's From Illusion to Reality, and Alexandra JB from Illusion to Reality.
From Illusion to Reality. It seemed an illusion last year. Now we're living the reality. Yeah. I like the name of your YouTube channel. Mine's is Seeking the Truth. Please do share this video and I will be downloading this and then uploading it onto my YouTube channel, Caroline Stevens, Seeking the Truth. It's about time the truth was truly circulated. Get the truth out there whilst you're on garden leave, whilst you're on a 3 or 4 day week. Please do catch up on some of these videos because it could change your life. Knowledge, with good knowledge comes power. It's about empowering the people to take back control. Remember, we heard a lot about Brexit and trade deals. The UK does not actually have a trade deal, an official trade deal with China. But you look around your kitchen, you look around in your garage, and you will find many, many items that were made in China. So how did that happen if we have to have a trade deal? We do not have to have a trade deal to trade. Brexit was just an illusion. The reality is New World Order. Thank you for watching and listening. Please do share. It's important to get the truth out. Thanks, Alex. You're a star. Have a good weekend, everybody. Have a great weekend, Alex. And I'll see you. We're going to reconvene next Tuesday about 1:30, hopefully. Is that right?
Yes. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you so much, all. And have a great time.
And you take good care of yourself. I want you back on my show next Tuesday.
Thank you. I will be here.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.